Hi everyone and welcome to Inderes TV. Today we're going to talk about Wärtsilä with Analyst Pauli Lohi. Welcome.
Thank you.
So they released their Q1 last week. So how would you summarize it?
Well, it was quite a lot like expected. So the earnings improved significantly from a comparison period last year, and the orders I think they were a bit below expectations, but the order mix was good, and the orders in the most profitable segments grew at least as expected or even better.
Yeah, so orders in the most profitable segments grew, but the energy storage was a disappointment.
Yes.
Yeah, so what's behind that?
So that's maybe a part of the company that confuses investors a bit, because it's very low margin business and very volatile between quarters. So in one quarter that could make big difference in order growth or even sales. So in Q1 there was less new orders, but in some other quarter there might be much more.
So it's more like
it's not something that I'm worried about.
Okay.
So I'm more looking to the marine and energy that provide almost the whole earnings of the company.
Yeah. So what about, how do you look at the demand in short and long term for Wärtsilä? What's your overall view for the demand?
Well, the company still kept intact the positive outlook for their markets in marine and energy. In marine, there is still a kind of good demand for new cruise ships and ferries that are core segments for Wärtsilä. The decline in global trade activity could threaten the shipbuilding volumes for like big merchant ships that go through continents, but those are a smaller segment for Wärtsilä.
So would that be mainly short term?
Yeah, that's now I'm talking about short term. Yeah, and but in generally the short term outlook is still good, and in the energy side there are still more renewable energy investments, and so there is need for the balancing power which Wärtsilä's engines are providing. So, for example, if in Texas they invest in solar power, then they need engine that provides energy when it's not sun is not shining. So and also the big data centers need kind of baseload power solutions. So that is also a growing segment for Wärtsilä. Okay. So these are kind of, I would say, that these are also actually long-term drivers for the energy segments and power plants. So that is something that is likely to persist even in the long term.
So many good things and interesting things going on.
And if we talk about long term in marine, so there is the need to reduce the emissions in shipping. That's clearly a driver for Wärtsilä, which is a market leader in alternative fuel solutions there.
Yeah. So what about the uncertainty and in general for Wärtsilä? You mentioned something there already about the trade wars and tariffs. So how is Wärtsilä affected by them?
Well, in marine segment, I think it's more, it could hit the demand a bit, so that if there is less trade or the trade grows lower than expected, then there might be less investments into new ships. Wärtsilä is a bit protected by that, because they are not so much in these huge ships that go between Asia and North America and so on. They are more kind of focused in these regional ships that are not so much affected about these uncertainties. But still, they are somewhat. They provide some engines also to the big ships, but those are more kind of auxiliary engines which are not used for main purpose, but they are like the second option, I would say.
So how would you summarize? Affected to some extent, but not that bad.
Yeah, not that bad, and it's their core segments are still doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the energy segment, there could be some direct impacts from the fact that they ship their engines to US, and these are used as power solutions there. So tariffs could affect. Of course, they can increase prices, but then there is also some local competition from turbine solutions. So there is certain uncertainties here, but I would say that the fact that the company still kept the outlook positive, it means that they don't see any immediate troubles ahead.
Yeah, sounds good. So what about valuation and our recommendation at the moment?
Well, Wärtsilä is highly value-creating company with return on investment capital over 20%. They are also set to grow, let's say, 5% annually, because these long-term drivers like renewable energy and decarbonization of shipping are boosting their growth. They are in very strong position in their own industry. So they are now trading roughly around EV/EBIT 10. So I would say it's still very attractive.
Yeah.
And we are with accumulated recommendation, and we believe this is good long-term buying opportunity. Even if the short-term outlook is there could be happen something that it's hard to estimate now, but we don't see it yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pauli, for all these comments. And if you want to read more about Wärtsilä, go to inderes.se.